Hey, it's me, Vicki Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, sorry I'm a little bit late coming on live. I had to make a coffee, put a bit of lipstick on, just get a few photos loaded up, etc. Get some videos ready to talk about. And, I've been in class this morning and then I just finished, saw this news about Christian B. Of course, Madeleine McCann, we all, this Madeleine McCann, this little girl up in the corner of my screen, is probably the most famous missing person case in the whole of the world, isn't it? Everybody. There are not many people who don't know about the Madeleine McCann case, is there? And that's what we're going to talk about today, because Christian B, surprise, surprise, I think most of us knew that he was never going to be held accountable for anything, because he actually probably hasn't done anything. I'm not saying he's a nice person, maybe he's a horrible person, but it doesn't feel like he ever had anything to do with the Madeleine McCann case, and now he's been cleared of these other charges. So has he just been used as a scapegoat? That's what we're going to look at today. And I'm going to take some of you who have subscribed to my channel later on might not know that not last May, but the May before, I actually went to Praia da Luz. So I'm going to show some of the footage that I took there of the complex, etc., the church, all those things. And the pit, I'm going to tell you some of the things that people told me, people that I got chatting to, who were working there at the time. The guy who now owns that complex, he was working there at the time. The guy that was behind the bar, which is now a Japanese fusion bar, which used to be the Tapas bar, he knew Christian B, and he, was chatting to me about Christian B, about the McCanns, about he was working there on the night. So we're going to talk about that. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my fan on, because believe it or not, might be the blooming 10th of October, the 8th of October, but it's really hot. So I'm just going to put on one of my fans. No. So that's better, because I have to have the blinds down and the windows closed, because otherwise there's a lot of noise from outside. So that makes it quite, anyway, I'm waffling. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, for those of you who don't know, maybe if you're new to this channel, my name's Vicki Marie. I am in mainland Spain. It is currently just coming up to 1:15 in the afternoon. It is 28 degrees. It's still like summer here. But you know what? We had some very strange weather. Last night, we had 4 earthquakes, 4 terremotos, 4 small earthquakes. The biggest one was 2.0 on the Richter scale. But sort of in the early hours of the morning, from about 12:30 this morning to about 4:30, we had 4 earthquakes. And also we had the weirdest weather. I thought it was a hurricane, honest to God. The wind got right up, was whistling around the house. It felt like there was some sort of hurricane coming. They keep telling us we're going to get the tail end of the hurricane from that's been blighting the USA, from Tennessee, etc., Florida. They keep saying that we're going to get the tail end of it here in Spain. I thought it was here last night. It was really quite scary. What with the earthquakes and the hurricane, it was an eventful night. But anyway, yeah, and we do get earthquakes very often in Spain. And a sort of town not far from me was flattened by an earthquake. Round about, I mean, it was quite a while ago. It was about 100 years ago, but apparently we are on a fault line. So yeah, it was a little bit of a worry to have 4 small earthquakes within a couple of hours, and then this weird weather, the wind, it's all gone now. I mean, it's not windy today at all. So yeah, bit of odd weather going on. You know, sometimes you just feel like, I don't think the weather's ever been the same since the COVID. Since COVID, I blame it all on COVID. I don't know, the weather's been very strange here, so you know, who knows what's behind it. So I'm going to say hello to everyone before I start talking about this case. I can see there's quite a lot of you there in the chat. Thank you for being here. Thank you for still caring about Madeleine. This poor little mite just left while her parents went out drinking with their mates. Madeleine and her 2 siblings just left in their room to fend for themselves, which the parents then said was just like it was in your garden. You know, the bar that they're in was just like they're in the garden. I've been there, I know where the apartment is in comparison to the bar. There is no way I would leave a child in there on its own, not even an older child, you know, unless it was like a teenager. You wouldn't leave 3 children under the age of 5 alone in this apartment, which is a 1st floor apartment as well, and it's right on the road. It's the apartment, the complex. That apartment is not part of the complex. The apartment is at the back of the complex. There's a wall there. To get to the apartment, you have to go out of the entrance to the complex, walk along the road, round the corner to the apartment. It's not part of the apartment complex. So it's not like you can just see the window, see what's going on, you know, look into your apartment. All that they said is so untrue, and how it's always presented on the media. Because you know, when we went to this apartment, we didn't stay in the apartment, we stayed in the complex. Well, there isn't a complex. We thought there was, so we booked to stay near to the, you know, where the complex is. And when we got there, we signed the you know, signed in, and then I went inside the, because he said, "Oh, come on, I'll show you your apartment." So I started walking into the complex. He said, "Oh, no." And he took us outside of those apartments. They're not part of that complex. That complex is separate. He said completely separate. The apartments around are privately owned apartments, and they're rented out separately. You know, they're not, I don't know how to explain it, but when we look at it later, I'll show you. So it's not like a pool in the middle of a complex with all the apartments around with easy access to the apartments. No, it isn't. It's a walled complex with the pool, the kids, what used to be the kids club, but it's now a salon type. You know, they do massages and stuff like that. The bar, which is now a Japanese fusion bar. All that is inside the walls of the complex. But to get to any of the apartments, you have to go outside, along the road, round the corner, or, you know, there's loads of different private apartments. Ours was, you know, about a 10-minute walk from the one we stayed in, was about a 10-minute walk actually from the pool. Right, so let me say hello to everyone before I start going on a rant. Hi, David. Oh, it's nice to see you back, David. We did miss you. Hi, Annie. Hi, Lily Paulie. Hi, Martha from California. Hi, thank you. Hi, Craig. Hi, Mia. Hi, Heather. Hi, Pamela. Tipping down with rain in Devon. Well, you know, I'd quite like a little bit of rain. Maybe not tipping down, but a little bit of rain would be nice. Hi, Shelley. Sorry. Hi, Lorna. Hi, Red Fan. Okay. So first of all, let's just look at what's just happened. And we're going to have a look at Martin Brunt. Oh, good old Martin Brunt. You know, Martin Brunt, he's part of the unholy trio, isn't he? Peter Folding, or holy trio, whichever way you look at it. Peter Folding, Mark Williams Thomas, and Martin Brunt, of course. They're all completely, you know, they're all buddies, aren't they? And he's reporting on this. Now, you know, I just want to talk about Martin Brunt a minute, because of course it was Martin Brunt who turned up at that lady's house who had been saying bad things about the McCanns, turned up, doorstepped her, embarrassed her, put her on camera, etc. And that lady then ended up taking her own life. So I think that was a big thing. Because really, when you look at trolls these days and the things that trolls say and do, what this lady was doing, really, all she was doing was challenging the narrative. You know, she was challenging the fact that the McCanns had, whether they had or didn't have anything to do with Madeleine's disappearance. Brenda, I think her name was, wasn't it? I just want to get a name up. So, of course, it was a very sad result. Yeah, she was doorstepped over trolling, as they called it, the McCanns. But, you know, it depends what you call trolling, doesn't it? I mean, it's not trolling. Let me just swap to this, actually. Brenda Leyland, she was found dead in a Leicester hotel 2 days after the channel Sky News Martin Brunt doorstepped and broadcast footage of her. So if that's not trolling, I don't, you know, trolling is not exclusive to, you know, social media. There are different kinds of trolling, of course. And what Brenda had done was she was reported to have tweeted or retweeted thousands of messages attacking Jerry and Kate McCann. Now, she's not the only one, is she? What my question always over Brenda is, why did they pick on Brenda in particular? How many people? Oh my God, if you go on the Facebook groups, find Madeleine McCann or any of those, they're constantly attacking Jerry and Kate McCann. Now, I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying it's right to do that. What I'm trying to say is, why Brenda? Why did they doorstep Brenda? And not, you know, any of the other thousands of people that were saying things. You know, that's my question. And of course, what they didn't know is that Brenda was vulnerable. So look, Sky News has offered its sincere condolences to the family of a woman who killed herself after being doorstepped by one of its senior reporters. I can't even believe Martin Brunt's still a reporter, to be honest, over abusive tweets that she had directed at the parents of missing Madeleine McCann. So the news channel's crime correspondent Martin Brunt told an inquest that Brenda Leyland said she had thought of ending it all, but that she was feeling better now. And he said he thought the remark made days after he had confronted her was a throwaway line. But she was found dead in a hotel room in Leicester on the 4th of October, which year? Let's have a look. It's over 9 years ago now. So it's quite a long time ago now. 2 days after Martin Brunt's report aired on Sky, I was devastated and still am, Brunt told the inquest at Leicester Town Hall. The enormity of what happened will always be with me. So this made a big difference, didn't it? Along with the Levison report and all the Millie Dowler, all the... you know, the newspapers hacking into phone lines and hacking messages. It all sort of happened, didn't it? This was when, you know, this mainstream media, who's always so quick to criticize social media, they used to do much worse things. I don't know any YouTubers or TikTokers that actually hack into people's phone, phone messages, dead girls' phone messages. This is the mainstream media having a go always at social media, but nobody sinks as low as the mainstream media to get story. We heard that is it Inzira? Sorry, I can't remember his second name. The reporter that reported on the Nicola Bully case in that recent documentary, saying, "Oh, this was box office stuff." That was the actual words he used. Box office stuff. What the pressure was like to get story. So, I'm really sick of them having a go at social media all the time. And nobody sinks as low as the mainstream media when they've got wind of a story. So anyway, he doorstepped this woman. Why all the media are so sort of identifying the mainstream media, supporting the McCanns, etc. Everyone has their view about what happened to Madeleine. I don't know if we'll ever know exactly what happened to Madeleine, but it's not trolling really to say that you feel that there's more to it, that you think it's wrong. Whatever happened to Madeleine, these parents were never charged with negligence. Two doctors left 3 children under the age of 5 to fend for themselves in a foreign country, and then went off getting drunk with mates. Just not something you're supposed to do, is it? How did they get away with it? They got away with it because they're doctors, because they've got friends in high places. If that would have been me or, some single parent from a council estate, they would have been held up and, vilified in the press. But, oh, no, not the McCanns. No, because they're doctors, middle class, no people in high places, etc. So anyway, that was what happened with Martin Brunt. And, it's hard. It's hard to sort of like him and knowing what he did, because why did he do that? Why did he turn up at Brenda's door? Surely, I don't think she was, there's much worse trolling, and she wouldn't have been the only one. So why Brenda? It always just makes me wonder why they picked on Brenda. What signaled them to go to her and not probably the thousands of other trolls they could have gone to. Anyway, let's see what he's got to say.
We have got a verdict. Martin's standing by. Martin.
We have 5 verdicts. He's been acquitted on all the charges that he's been on trial for here. 3 rapes and 2 charges of sex abuse of young children. It's a trial that's been...
so they're horrible charges that he's been charged with. He doesn't... I don't know him. I don't know what sort of person he is. I don't know anything. All I know is that the person that I spoke to about him at the Praia da Luz, a person who knew him at the time, it's only hearsay, it's only what he said, said he was a van lifer. He said there was sort of lived in his van. There was a lot of similar people like him around at the time. He didn't have a reputation for being, creepy or whatever, but this was a young lad. He would have been a very young lad at the time. He's not that old now, maybe a young lad, about 40. So probably at the time when it all happened, he was probably only, 20 or maybe even just late teens. So maybe he wouldn't have noticed if there was anything strange about Christian B, but he actually knew him personally. And he said, there was nothing that he thought was any stranger about him than any of the other people that were around at the time. It could well turn out one day, because the way that apartment is, if Madeleine woke up, opened the door and came out, which she could have done, she could have opened the door, come down the stairs, she would have been right on the road. And somebody could have been passing opportunistically, and not necessarily looking for a child to kidnap or whatever, but just seeing this little girl. Somebody could have been Christian. not saying it wasn't. I have no idea. Or it could have been anybody else who was passing. You know, this happens often. That's what happened with Sarah Payne. That's what happens with a lot of children that are abducted. Although the people that abduct them are like predators, they're not always actually looking for someone in particular. Sometimes they're just passing and they see a child just that moment that child is away from their parents, like with Jamie Bulger. You know, the couple of seconds that Jamie's mum took her eye off him, and there he was out there and taken away by those two young boys. Now, I don't think those two young boys were specifically looking for Jamie, but they saw this little kid there, and it was like maybe they were looking for a child to kidnap. But so, you know, there's a chance that that might have happened, that literally, you know, Madeleine's come out the apartment, come down the steps and onto the road, because then to get to where, if she knew where her parents were, if they were at the tappers bar, because some people think they weren't at that bar, they were at a bar miles away down by the beach, which, believe me, is, you know, at least a 15-minute walk to get to, and it's steep hill. You know, a lot of people say that, you know, I don't know where they were exactly. But let's supposing they were in the tappers bar in the complex that backs onto the apartments, she still would have had to go onto the road practically to go, even if she knew where they were. There's no cut through, you know, it's walled. It's a walled complex. So you have to come out down the road, turn the corner, up into the complex, up to the entrance of the complex. And it would take, it's not, you know, it's maybe a 10-minute walk for a little girl. Probably for someone like Jerry, if he was fit, and that might take 5 minutes. You know, for me, it took me 10 minutes because I'm a slow walker. And also I was filming at the time, but I'm going to show you that video anyway. Now, it could be that Christian B was driving past in his van at that moment. Could well be. Or somebody else. Somebody who's never even been brought into this. Could be somebody who just, you know, took her off and that was it. And will we ever find out, I wonder?
That's been held intermittently since February, a few days each week here and there. But in the last few minutes, the judge has announced that Christian B, the main suspect in the Madeleine McCann disappearance, has been acquitted by the court on all of those charges. Not much detail coming out of court at the moment. We have colleagues in court, but the judge has said that the cost of this long-running trial will have to be borne by the state. These acquittals are very much what the defence lawyers were anticipating. They were very confident this morning when they arrived at court. They believe that this...
It's just been a total waste of time, hasn't it? This has been years. You know, just, and really, to be honest, a lot of us, we knew instantly, didn't we? As soon as they said that Christian B, before I even went to Praia da Luz, I just thought this is just going to end up being nothing. You know, we're not stupid. They think we're stupid, but we're actually not. You know, maybe I'm a little bit stupid over some things, but I don't think we're this stupid, are we, that we thought that Christian B, we knew he was a patsy. You know, but and then you have to, the thing is that once you start making people patsies like that, distractions, then you start thinking, well, why are they doing that? You know, so you know, were the Germans just so keen that they would solve the Madeleine McCann case? Because you imagine the kudos if somebody actually did manage to solve the case to everyone's satisfaction. It'd be like, you know, fantastic, wouldn't it? Were they just that determined that, you know, they had a little bit of, you know, it seems like maybe he's not a nice person, he's done some things. I don't really, to be honest, know exactly what he has done and what's been proven, what hasn't been proven, you know. But anyway, as far as this was concerned, right from the beginning, didn't we? I don't know about you, but I just thought, this is never going to come to anything.
This was a case brought against Christian B by a biased prosecution on flimsy evidence that was put together by a poor police investigation. And the defence said yesterday in a closing speech that they believe that Christian B was put on trial for these other unrelated sex crimes, unrelated to the Madeleine case, purely because he was the suspect in the Madeleine case. He's not been charged over Madeleine. The defence had argued that he was put on trial because the prosecutor here, who is the same prosecutor in the Madeleine case, wanted to influence public opinion. The lawyer said yesterday at the end of this case that it was built on flimsy evidence, and he accused two of the main prosecution witnesses of lying.
So yeah, let's just listen to that once more time. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, you could have written this article 4 years ago, really, couldn't you?
I've got a verdict. Martin standing by. Martin.
We have 5 verdicts. He's been acquitted on all the charges that he's been on trial for here. 3 rapes and 2 charges of sex abuse of young children. It's a trial that's been held intermittently since February, a few days each week here and there. But in the last few minutes, the judge has announced that Christian B, the main suspect in the Madeleine McCann disappearance, has been acquitted by the court on all of those charges. Not much detail coming out of court at the moment. We have colleagues in court, but the judge has said that the cost of this long-running trial will have to be borne by the state. These acquittals are very much what the defence lawyers were anticipating. They were very confident this morning when they arrived at court. They believe that this was a case brought against Christian B by a biased prosecution on flimsy evidence that was put together by a poor police investigation. And the defence said yesterday in a closing speech that they believe that Christian B was put on trial for these other unrelated sex crimes, unrelated to the Madeleine case, purely because he was the suspect in the Madeleine case. He's not been charged over Madeleine. The defence had argued that...
So he's not even been charged over Madeleine. His name, you know, whatever he is or what he's done, his name has been dragged through the mud. He's been all over the news, all over the world as a suspect in the Madeleine McCann case. But he's not even been charged. I mean, that's just not right, is it? Whatever he may be a twonk, whatever other things he may have done, it's not right to you know, point the finger at someone without evidence, is it? So he's not even been charged. And yet he now forever, as soon as anyone mentions Christian B, they'll think of Madeleine McCann. And as soon as someone mentions Madeleine McCann, they'll think about Christian B. And he hasn't even been charged. I mean, it's terrible. I wonder if he's going to go and apply for compensation or whatever he should do. Definitely should do. You know, you can't, whatever, just because someone's maybe not a very nice person, you can't blame him for everything. You know, if you get somebody who's done something bad, you can't then blame every other bad thing that ever happens on that one person, apart from the fact that that means that somebody else who's done the bad thing is going free. But it's, you know, just because someone's done one thing, you can't then blame them for everything.
He was put on trial because the prosecutor here, who is the same prosecutor in the Madeleine case, wanted to influence public opinion. The lawyer said yesterday at the end of this case that...
Do you know what, this poor little mite, you know, you just, when you see her, you just think, this girl, you know, where is the justice for Madeleine McCann? Because, you know, if her parents didn't have anything to do with that, I do feel for them, don't get me wrong, to lose a child is a terrible thing. But I still what always rankles with me is this total lack of taking responsibility. I think most people, if that was me, my child disappeared because I decided I was going to leave her on her own with her two even younger siblings and go off and have a drink with my mates and everything. And she disappeared, even though, it's, things happen. I would be terrible. Honest to God, the guilt that I had left that. It just wouldn't happen for a start. But I would have taken her. All the children should have gone with them. Portugal's like Spain. Children are welcome. And not only they're welcome till late at night. They're not supposed to be in bed by 7. They wanted their kids in bed by 7, but so they could have a good time. But not, you can take your kids out in Spain till God knows whatever time you want to take them out. Spanish children go to bed after me. Normally when I go to bed, all the kids are still playing out in the street. This is the culture in Europe. So they left those children there on their own for their own pleasure, so they could go out with their mates, get drunk, be an adult night. They didn't want to take children. What was the point of taking the children on holiday and then you spend it with adults? So, this is what I don't get with Jerry and Kate, is this total lack of it's our fault. It was your fault. It was your fault. You should never have left them. You should have the grace to at least admit it was your fault. Whatever happened to Madeleine was your fault, because you left 3 children under the age of 5 on their own, miles away from where you were getting drunk with your mates. So it was your fault. Can't get away from it.
That it was built on flimsy evidence, and he accused 2 of the main prosecution witnesses of lying.
So that's what they've got to say on Sky News. That's what Martin's got to say about it, Martin Brunt. So let's have a look what they've got to say on. It'll be more or less the same. LBC. I've never done the listen to the article. Let's try that.
Madeleine McCann prime suspect Christian Bruickner cleared of all charges at unrelated sex crimes trial. Madeleine McCann suspect Christian Bruickner has been found not guilty of all charges at his unrelated sex crimes trial in Germany. Christian Bruickner, 47, was sensationally named as the prime suspect in the disappearance of Madeleine in June 2020 by German police, but since then no charges have been brought. He was however accused of 3 rapes and 2 child sex abuse cases between 2000 and 2017 in Portugal. They were...
Now, I hope you don't mind me playing. This is great because it saves my voice, because sometimes my voice just sort of wears out. And I've got classes later. I've got quite late classes today. So if I can save my voice, that would be great. So it's 47, Christian.
Were close to the Algarve resort of Praia da Luz, from where Madeleine vanished in 2007 while on holiday with parents Kate and Jerry McCann. In his closing remarks at the courthouse in Braunschweig, Germany, yesterday, Bruickner's lawyer Friedrich Fulscher hinted that convicted rapist and paedophile Bruickner was only on trial because of his link with Madeleine's case. The court found him not guilty on all charges. The ruling could have devastating consequences for German prosecutors who want to pin Madeleine's disappearance on Bruickner. They claim to have concrete evidence that she has died but have so far not disclosed any details. Last week prosecutors called for Bruickner to be jailed for 15 years for the alleged crimes in Portugal. But Judge Ute Engman ruled in July that the evidence against him was insufficient, a strong indication he will be acquitted. The case against Bruickner has relied on the evidence of Helga Busching, who claims to have seen videos of Bruickner raping 2 women. Busching also allegedly tipped off police about the German pedophile's alleged involvement in Madeleine's disappearance. He alleged Bruickner told him she didn't scream when they discussed the infamous case in a Spanish bar. The pair were friends in Praia da Luz in the...
Yeah, so the thing is, this key witness, isn't it, who said that Bruickner had said, he said, this Bushing, Helge Bushing, who claims to have seen videos of Brunt raping 2 women. Now, where are those videos then? I mean, maybe it's, where are they? And, you know, has he got more, you know, what's his reason for doing that? You know, sometimes informants have got reasons, haven't they? You still need evidence. I mean, anyone could go out and say that somebody had done something to somebody. I've seen a video, or I've done this, or, but you've got to show it, you know. Now, see, look, they're calling him a P here. So they're saying he also allegedly tipped off police about the German P's alleged involvement. So apparently they were friends in Praia da Luz in the mid-2000s. I don't know. Honestly. So he's currently serving. See, this is the other thing that surprises me about Christian B. You know, predators. So there are some predators who don't care who their victim is. Could be a child, could be an old person, could be a man, could be a woman, could be a girl, could be a boy. You know, there are some predators that literally don't care as long as, you know, they find a victim. But it is still unusual because he's currently serving a 7-year prison term for raping an American pensioner in the Portuguese resort. So he could be freed next year. Now, so he has been found guilty of that. He has been found guilty of this assault on this pensioner. But again, you know, you think people who do, but is it just a vulnerable person? It could be a pensioner or a child. You know, as I say, some predators don't have a sort of a particular victim, but I just personally think it's quite unusual for someone who is attracted to children. You know, they're calling him a P. Why are they calling him a P? Has he ever been charged with something of that nature? You know, they're actually referring to him as a P. But you know, what he's in prison for is not child related. So anyway, there's the old Jerry and Kate. Now, there's a lot of speculation about what's going on in their household at the moment, because of course now the twins, Amelie and Sean, they're 19, are they? 19, 20, maybe older even. And there are rumours, but of course they're only rumours, so I've got to put that, you know, make that clear. Rumours that maybe they're not quite happy with the official version of what happened. You know, they're adults now, they'll be accessible, you know, everything will be accessible to them. There's a load of stuff out there, isn't there? I mean, there's so much out there about Madeleine McCann. I'm sure they've looked into it themselves. And what was strange was last year at the vigil, there's a vigil held every year. I'm going to show in a minute. I did make a little video about it. Every year there's a vigil held, you know, on the day that Madeleine went missing, which was in May. That's when I was there, in May. So, yeah. And this last year at the vigil, Amelie turned up at the vigil and actually said some words. She looks very much like Jerry. She's a very beautiful girl, natural beauty. She spoke at the vigil and she looked comfortable being there, etc. But Sean wasn't there. And then this year, nobody went to the vigil, not even Kate and Jerry went. So Amelie didn't go, Sean didn't go, and even Kate and Jerry didn't turn up at the vigil. So, you know, it makes you wonder, are there things going on behind the scenes? If we ever do find out what happened to Madeleine McCann, I think it will come from within the family, personally. I think it will come from, you know, if Kate and Jerry did have anything to do with it, with her disappearance. And I, you know, my own personal opinion, and it is only a personal opinion, is I do think something did happen to Madeleine that they know about. And I don't believe it was MURDER. I don't believe it was deliberate, but I believe it was covered up. And in some ways I can understand it. They had 2 other children, you know, but I think more that they're just too concerned about their own reputation. They strike me just the way, the reason I think, apart from going to Praia da Luz and seeing the place, the things that point to me, it's nothing to do with body language, it's nothing to do with anything. To me, the reason I think that they know exactly and knew exactly where Madeleine was because when Madeleine disappeared, they continued to put their other 2 children in the kids' club, in the complex next to where Madeleine had been kidnapped from. So to me, if I had 3 children, 1 child was abducted from an apartment and they'd been going to the kids' club right next door to that apartment or just up the way, well, could have been someone from the kids' club, couldn't it? Someone who knew where they were staying. Could have been connected to the kids' club. That kids' club is, the owner told me when I went to Praia da Luz, that kids' club, that's not been there for a long time now. That was the end of the kids' club. You're not going to leave your other 2 children there, are you? You know, you've lost 1 child already. You know, it's one of your children's been kidnapped because of your negligence. And then they were still leaving the other 2 children every day in the kids' club so they could go jogging. They were sticking to their routines, doing their jogging. Just seeing them jogging around there when their little daughter was missing. And the reason why they did that is because they knew, in my opinion, they knew full well what had happened to Madeleine. They didn't have to worry about the other 2 kids being abducted because Madeleine hadn't been abducted. And they knew that. They know what happened to Madeleine, in my view. They know exactly. And that is what will always, whatever anyone says, until I'm given any evidence that anybody else took Madeleine, that tells me everything I need to know, that when someone's child is kidnapped and they don't know what's happened to her, that they would still continue to leave their other 2 children in the same kids' club. Literally, you know, they said it was just like it's in your garden. It's not just like it's in your garden, but it's not that far away from the apartment. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that someone from the kids' club who maybe knew where they were staying, knew that Madeleine was getting left every night. All the kids were getting left every night. So there you go. That's my reason behind it. Could you do that if you'd lost 1 child already, had 1 child kidnapped? You don't know where they are. They could be being RAPD, tortured, trafficked. Anything could have happened to them. So what do? You get your other 2 children who are only 2 years old at the time and leave them in a nursery, the same nursery. No. While you go jogging and jetting off all over the world to meet Oprah Winfrey, to meet the Pope, you know, to do all these things. It's not normal. I'm sorry, it's not. Most people, God, if you had 1 child abducted, you wouldn't be able to leave your other children's side, would you? So that's my reason for thinking that they definitely were involved. Now, whether it'll ever come out or not, don't know. Yeah. You would be stuck to your kids like glue, wouldn't you, if you had more than 1 child, one went missing? Just how will it have been for like Jamie Bulger's mum? It must be so difficult for her, you know, with her other children. Anyone like Sarah Payne, the same. You just have this extra protective. I know that was the case with Holly and Jessica. You know, it's just obvious. one of your children has been kidnapped, you wouldn't carry on. You know, you wouldn't leave your other children alone. Anyway, never mind. Hi, my angel. Yeah, exactly, Craig. Of course, it's just, listen, Christian B. Hi, Heather. Hi, Rooster. Probably he's not a nice person. You know, let's have a little look at him actually while we're here. Maybe he isn't a nice person. Maybe he's done terrible things. I just literally don't know. But yeah, that doesn't mean to say he's done everything that bad that's ever happened in the world, does it? You know, and he was there at the time, because as I say, this guy that I got talking to, who was working in the bar, he knew him, but he said he was okay. But you know what? I don't know, because I don't know him. So let's just have a look. Now, let me just put a few windows down. So this is what's happened today. Now, I just want to have a look at a couple of the videos that I've done about Madeleine. First of all, about this vigil. I'll go through my... I won't subject you.
Description at coffee.com. That's it, I think. I think I've covered everything now. Most important thing to me is that people are finding the videos interesting out for that.
I'm waffling on. I won't subject you to...
It's a case that's generated so much attention.
So,
going into the whole video.
The vigil, which was not last year but the year before, was to mark Madeleine's 20th birthday. Let me just see if I can find... I'm doing a lot of talking. Where's the pictures?
I suppose I'll never know, but I wondered who it is, because, I don't know what his feelings are. He's an 18-year-old boy, and 18-year-old boys, I know I've had one, they're not easy to deal with. Or maybe it was just too upsetting for him, or maybe he had something else that he had to do and he couldn't avoid it.
So yeah, at this vigil, Amelie turned up. I'm looking for where I show the picture of her. Let me just speed it up a bit. Speed myself up.
It wasn't, it was a football pitch away, at least from the apartment, and the apartment was sort of upstairs around the corner, so it wasn't, you couldn't see the door directly from where you were sitting. But anyway, I'm not going into that. I've done a video on my thoughts and feelings, and as I say, I will put a link in the description box. So today I'm just going to talk to you about this vigil that was held in Leicestershire for Maddie's Madeleine's birthday, what would have been her 20th birthday. And I think what's interesting as well about this vigil is it's the first time that we've seen Amelie, so Madeleine had a brother and sister, twin brother and sister, who were also in the room that night that she was supposed to have been abducted from, but they weren't abducted. And Amelie went to this vigil, and she's allowed photos to be taken. I presume she's given permission, but she's 18 now, so I don't know what the actual laws are. I mean, can you actually refuse someone taking your photo, or is it once you're over 18, there's nothing you can do about it anyway? I don't know. But if you look at the photos, which I'm going to show you, she seems quite happy having her photo. She's not shying away from the camera, hiding her face or anything. She seems quite happy to have a photo taken. So, and
So there she is. So this is Amelie. Ooh, where's it gone?
From the camera, hiding her face or anything. She seems quite happy to have a photo taken. So, and
So that was Amelie. She's an absolute spit of Jerry, isn't she? I think she looks just like Jerry, or maybe a perfect match between Jerry and Kate. Very attractive girl. I wonder, it can't be easy for her and Sean. Must be difficult being the siblings of the most famous missing persons case that there's ever been. So she was there. She had a friend with her. She said a few words, but Sean wasn't there. And then, as I say, this year, nobody was there, not even Kate and Jerry. So it's quite odd, isn't it?
Just because I've found this intriguing for a while. What will happen when these children get older? How will they look on this whole event? Because there's no way that Emily has not seen internet coverage of this case. And there's lots of conspiracy videos out there. Lots of people saying that they think they were involved. Lots of people saying they think they weren't involved as well. But I'm sure Emily has seen most of that, or a lot of that. I mean, how could you not look at this? Maybe she just thinks, oh, I'm not going to look at it, because she's a very sensible girl.
I bet 100% Emily will have said at some point to her parents, and probably Sean as well, why did you leave us on our own? There comes a point with all kids, whatever, where they start to question, don't they? When they become teenagers, they're up to being teenagers. They normally just accept everything you do and say without question, don't they? They think you're great. They love you to bits. And then they become teenagers and suddenly everything you say is a load of rubbish and they challenge everything. So I just think there's no way that those two kids have not said to their parents, why did you leave us all on our own? I think it's 100% certain that they'll have asked them that.
Girl, I don't know. Well, I don't know. That's the thing. So it's intriguing, isn't it? So how does this fit? Does she feel? She looks so much like Jerry on the photos. I think there's you can see that resemblance so much, and it is quite emotional, isn't it? Because you can see how Madeleine, in Emily, we see how Madeleine might have looked today if she was still alive, or if she is still alive. So I've been intrigued for a while, because if you've got children, any of you out there, if you've got children if you've got or had teenage children, you will know it's hard. It's hard, and this sort of stage that they come to where they resent you no matter what you do. You could be the best mother in the world or father, and teenage children just get to a point where they just think I hate their parents, or not all of them do, but a lot of them do. A lot, you know what I mean, don't you? And it's difficult. So then, if there was what I think they do, because when they're younger, you sort of share everything with them, because at the end of the day, they're your children and you're close and it's all lovely, and then they get to an age, and I've done it myself when I was a teenager. I know sometimes I remember things that I used to say to my mum and dad, and I just feel terrible because they're not here now for me to apologise to them. But I didn't realise at the time I was being horrible. But now I can look back and see that I was, and I hope they understood, because they'd had other children as well. I'm sure they've gone through it with them. But right, I'm going off track. Yeah, so they start bringing all this up against you. So no matter what you've done, if you've stayed living in a city, they'll be saying to you, why are we living in a city? We should be living in a town or a village. If you were living in a village, it's, why did we? No matter what you do, it's wrong, because that's just.
Yeah, so that's my view. I know what it's like when kids become teenagers, from my own experience, and not only, from what I was like when I was a teenager. I don't know what it is. You just seem to go through this thing where everything your parents, as I say, 1 minute your parents are brilliant and everything they say you love, and you agree with everything they say, and then you just get to a point where you just rebel against everything. I think that is just, common across the board, isn't it? If your parents, mother or father, say, oh, the sky's blue, you're going to say, no, actually it's purple or whatever. You just, and if your mum and dad are a bit right wing, maybe you go left wing, or the other way around, or you just rebel. I don't know what it is. I think it's this time when you're looking for your own identity, isn't it? When you're in that sort of adolescent stage and you're just trying to sort out who you are. So I think that's common. So I think that'll have been gone through with the McCanns as well, as much as anything. Of course it will. So yeah, you makes you wonder what have the conversations been. I think 100% they'll have said things like, well, why did you leave us on our own? They'll have asked them to go through the story. They're missing a sister, that they've never known because of what happened. Now that they'll be on the internet. Of course they will. They'll be on the internet. They'll be seeing all the different things that people are saying. 100% certain, in my eyes, they will have. Okay, now I'm going to show you the footage that I took. As I say, if you weren't, maybe you haven't seen this, if you weren't a member of my channel, subscriber on my channel ages ago when I went to Praia da Luz. So I'm going to show you the footage of the church. Oh, bless her. So this is the apartment. Oop, and that's the church. Let me just go back because I want to. So here's the apartment here. I think it's this one, isn't it? And to get to the complex, like you can't go out the other way. There's no front entrance. It's this is the front. So you come out of the apartment down the stairs, then you have to go through this little car park, go onto the pavement, oops, walk along here, walk around the corner, and the entrance to the complex is somewhere about here. You have to go past this road. It's not a road exactly. There's more apartments backing onto those apartments. And the entrance to the complex is actually up here down the road. So you can't just, I think they tried to give the impression that you could just go straight out of the apartment and you're in the complex. No, you can't. The complex is separate, completely separate. In fact, there's another set of apartments before you get to the complex. And you have to come out here. This is the front way out onto the street. So this road here, there could have been, there were, I don't know how busy it would have been at that time of night, but sometimes it was quite busy. Could have been somebody passing. If Madeleine came out the apartment, somebody could have snatched her off the road. But the fact is, that's another reason why you wouldn't leave your kids there, because it wasn't like leaving them in your garden, you being in the garden. That would be if you were having dinner here. If you're having dinner here in the car park, that would be like you were having dinner in your garden and leave it. Yeah, you could leave the kids there then because you could see the apartment. You could see anyone going in or out of the apartment. If you were having your dinner and you're getting drunk with your mates in this car park, fair enough. But it wasn't like that. They were right over past. You have to go at the back of these apartments, then another set of apartments, then is the complex, and the bar is right over the back of it. So it's not true what they said. If they, God, their garden must be bloody massive if they think that was like living in your garden. If they thought that was like leaving your kids in there and then you being in your garden, only if your garden has got to, if there's another 2 blocks of flats in front, before your house and where you were having dinner. Crazy. So here's the church. They were doing some work on the church. So the first couple of days that we were there in Praia da Luz, they had scaffolding up on the church. So these are all pictures or footage that I took while I was there. That was the first, they were painting it and must have been painting it for the summer because first there was all scaffolding up, but then that was the first day that I went inside the church and did a service on the Sunday, I think. There's quite a lot of cars, quite busy. I don't know what sort of businesses they have in the, there's a taxi place, pharmacy, or obviously holiday type, things that you expect in a holiday resort like bars, restaurants, etc., etc. I don't know what kind of actual businesses there are here. This to me, it isn't really a place where you would come to live. It is a holiday. Yeah, it's a funny old place. It's definitely not a place I would want to live. There's not much there except for restaurants and stuff like that. Thank you, Angela, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you. So to me, it's a funny place to go on holiday as well. I mean, it's beautiful, the beaches. I've never, that really, really beautiful beach, beautiful blue sky, but it's miles away from the airport, miles away. It's at least an hour and a half, I think, in the airport transfer to get from the airport to the resort. Also, I don't know if it's a place I would want to take kids. There wasn't much for kids. I mean, there was that kids club then in that complex, but that's not there anymore. I did see people there with kids. There were people there with kids. There's lots of lovely bars and restaurants. The food's beautiful. The wine is beautiful. I mean, and it's all a good price, you know. It's like, so I can see it in that way, but I don't know. It just seemed. I think if you were taking little kids away, and I'm talking about little kids, so you know, getting them down to the beach was miles away from where they were staying. Well, I say miles away, maybe half an hour walk, and it was downhill, steep hill. So steep hill coming back. I just don't know for children, if you were taking your children somewhere, it's not very easy for children. But I believe the apartment that they stayed in, didn't it belong to a friend of theirs? So I think the apartment they stayed in, they're private apartments. They don't belong to that complex.
Destination, but people do live here, of course. Portuguese people live here. It's a small village, very similar to the village where I live. My village is hilly too. On the
Now it's funny, well, you can see how downhill it's going, and this is already, you know, you're already quite near the beach. Once you've got to come from the complex and from the apartments, it's really steep, cobbly hill going down. But you can see how beautiful the sea is and everything. You know, it really is. I can see the beaches are beautiful.
on the trail. These workmen are making.
So this is the church. Of course, what they do is it's a Portuguese church, but it's used for Anglican services in English every Sunday at 8 and 11:30. So I think I went to the 11:30 service.
This is the side of the church round the back. Yeah, I think when it was all going on, certainly in Spain, they all seemed to think she was buried under the church. It just makes you wonder, as the church was being built then.
So you can imagine I was in Spain at the time when she went missing. It was a big story in Spain. It was all over the news. Everyone thought that the parents had done it. You know, I think in Spain, when they get hold of a story, you know, they don't hold back. It's like, oh, they had reporters going there. The foundations were being laid. They thought Madeleine was buried under the church. You know, I don't know if that was ever investigated or not, but that's what these Spanish reporters were saying. You know, I remember watching it every day on the Spanish news. I was glued to it. And they were always convinced that it was Jerry and Kate that did whatever happened.
I don't know. Who knows? Sure, they searched, but
Well, you would think they'd search.
In Spain, they were reporting it on the news that they felt she was buried under the foundations, but I can't believe they didn't search. So probably not. Yeah. Anyway, they're not going to dig it up now, are they? So.
So this is the inside of the church. I mean, it's very beautiful inside, but it's just like typical. You see these churches everywhere, to be honest. In Spain, the same, a similar design. Kate, definitely. I'm not sure if Jerry is too. They're Catholics, aren't they? Kate is definitely a committed Catholic. They went off to see the Pope, didn't they? You know, and this is what I just feel, you know, with Catholicism, you can confess something, of course. And of course, Kate goes back here very often, doesn't she? She's been seen at the airport many times going back. Why does she keep going back there? I wouldn't want to go back there, would you? If you didn't think, unless she knows that Madeleine is around there somewhere. I was sort of half expecting to see her in the church. It was quite surreal to be in that church. I haven't seen it so much on the TV, you know, in reports and things. It felt odd, you know. You can feel Madeleine all around there. You can, you know, if you believe in that sort of thing, she just feels like she's all around there.
Is it okay to take a video? Is it okay to video? Yeah, thank you.
To be fair, they probably didn't know what I was there for, but then they said no problem, we'll take it. I didn't ask anyone in the church about it. Maybe I should have tried to see if they wanted to talk, but I wanted to stay for the service, so I didn't want to sort of upset anybody. I need to get a gimbal for the next time I'm on location. I've not been on location for a while. I've got a big one planned. I'm saving up to go on a big location, visit quite a few different places. Madonna.
Nostra Senora de Perpetuo Socorro. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if they'll come up on the. Might not come up very well on the. Do you know how to do that? Yeah, it's hard. You see it? All right. It's a nice thing, but I think because of the light coming in as well, you can't see it as well as, you know, you can't see how beautiful it is. And these little plaques as well, they're pretty. And there's something else on. That's what I was just going to think. Yeah. Is this very old? All right. one exit. Okay, so I'm going to light some candles now for my brother, my mum and dad, and for Madeleine, which I'm whispering because I did ask for permission to film and they said yes, no problem, but of course I don't know really probably what I'm here for. But it's a very pretty church, very friendly. It's Anglican share it with the Catholic Church and they do share the services. So let's see if it works. So there you go, one. That's for Madeleine. That's for my mum and dad, and then one for my brother. There you go, they did come on. Okay, so I'm going to stay here for the service. I've got the order of service. I'm looking forward to it. I like churches, like services. And this is the, what's the word, the order of service. So it's the hymns we're going to sing and what happens. So
Yeah, I really do like churches, even though I am not religious. I don't believe in religion itself, but I do believe in God, and I like churches. I like the peace that you can find in churches. But, I don't like all the, the hypocrisy of religion, like the bloody Vatican and all the riches. And, I don't like all that kind of thing. But there's something peaceful about a church, isn't there? There's just something about the atmosphere in a church. So I did enjoy the service.
I'm quite looking forward to that. I won't film the service. But yeah, I'm just carry on taking a bit of video. I'll edit it all off when I get home, etc. Okay. May your God go with you. Why is that? May your gods go with you. Bye.
Okay, so now just one more video I'm going to show. The walk that I did. I'm going to find it. I want to show you, it was an Anglican service, Craig. Hi, Wesley. The last video footage from when I was there that I just want to show you is the walk from the complex, the footage that I've got of the complex itself and how far away the apartment is. So let me just find it and then I can show it you. Let's see. Just a question of finding it. You'll have to chat between yourselves while I find it. I thought I did have it ready to play, but of course, things all seem to disappear. Madeleine. Content. Hang on. Sorry, it just take me a little while. Madeleine McCann. Right. Found it. Okay, so this is a video that I did. How far really is the apartment away? And when I got back, I put it all at, let's have a look. Hi, it's me, Vicki Marie, and I'm gradually getting back to normal after my trip away. There was substance that I will be putting on the medicals on as your own super sticker show today. To quality as time goes. Make your own mind up. I'm not presenting it to you, bar and police, etc. That they animal years as before the video. Independent time bar two. So what I want to show you now is a video. Let's see if I can find it, because I did try to do why is that not coming up? I tried to do a video of you're all patient. The walk from the tapas bar, which is now a Japanese bar, to the apartment, which is only around the corner. Oh, what is that? Come on, Vicky. Okay, so I'm going to show you the videos that I took from round and about. Now, is it? And, so here's the complex itself. So there was a beautiful pool, really nice pool. This is the kids club over here, and this under this green roof, that is what was the tapas bar, and it's now a Japanese restaurant, like Japanese fusion. If I say restaurant, it does snacks, etc. So this is the pool itself. So these apartments at the back here, even those, they're like the first line apartments, but even those, they're not, it looks like they're fronting right onto the pool, doesn't it? But they're not. There's a wall here all the way around. This complex is completely separate. This is a wall. So you can't just come out of that apartment and just walk into the pool. You have to go out the back, round the corner, along the road. You cannot just, it's very deceptive. Looks like the apartments are fronting onto the pool, and they're not. That's the back of the apartments. And the McCann's apartment is this one. So you can't see into the apartment. And the door that comes out of the apartment is here at the other side. You don't come out of here down the stairs and you can see there's a wall here. And actually, they are the second lot of apartments back. So this is the first line of apartments, but even they're not, they're behind a wall. And then the McCann's apartment was even back after them, the next one along again. So, they're not just overlooking as if it was their garden. Like the McCann said, that is just not true. And you can't see the door. So if somebody went, so if Madeleine came out there and came out the door and down the stairs, the door is round the corner. So you can't see the door to see who's coming out or who's going in. You can see these two windows, but I'm not sure if that's the window to to Madeleine's room or whether that's the window to Kate and Jerry's room. You know, it's not clear. But basically, you cannot see the door. The door is round the other side. And this is the exit from the complex. So if you wanted to go to that apartment, you've got to go through this exit onto the road, or the pavement at the road, walk up here, walk past one road onto the next corner road, and then turn left. And then you've got to, you know, so it's not just there. That's the only way you can get to it. There's no other way you can get to it. Well, no quicker way. There's longer ways to get to it. That's got to be the most famous apartment, hasn't it? How many times have we seen people stood in, you know, on the news, stood in front of those apartments, but making it look as if they're around the pool. They're not around the pool. There's a big wall around this complex. So there's the tappers bar here under this plastic, or what was the tappers bar. So it's quite a distance. How would you leave 3 tiny children there?
Hi, it's me, Vicki Marie. I am at the door of the Ocean Club. Let me just turn around.
So this is the Ocean Club. And I'm going to walk up. I'm sorry, my videoing is rubbish. It'll be, you know, I need a stabilizer for the thing. But it just gives you an idea of how far away it is and how you can, you know, this is the only way you can get to it. There's no quicker way. There's no cut through. This is it.
I'll show you the loose Ocean Club Garden Club. I was going to start from the tappers bar, but I can't because the door, we can't get in because it's too early and it's not open yet. But this basically is the door to, what I'll do later on, I'll do the video from the tappers bar to the door and a video around the actual club itself to show you the setup of the club. But it is completely separate from everything else. So what they would have done is have to come out here of either this door, or I'll show you another door later that they might have been able to get out near the tappers bar, and then come round here and out onto the street. So it's not, the apartment's not actually part of the complex. You actually have to come out onto the street. See these weirdy cobbles. And this is the apartment block. So you can see it is completely separate from the club itself. And it's a lovely, beautiful morning here. There's quite a lot of cars.
So there's quite a lot of cars, but this was morning, but it was early in the morning. So there's quite a lot of cars going past. I just want to go back to that because I want to show you the gap, you know, how. Oh. No, a little bit before that. This is where I want to show you. So yeah, as you come up here, this is the wall around the complex. Then there's a gap before the apartment complex. Then there's apartments on this side, these apartments, and then Madeleine's apartment was on the other side. So it is, you know, you just would never leave 3 little children there.
The street, see these weirdy cobbles. And this is the apartment block. So you can see it's completely separate.
Yeah, that's the wall around the Ocean Club. You know, so you can't just come out of these apartments and walk in. You have to go in the main entrance. These are the apartments behind Madeleine's apartment. Again, that's the back of them, not the front of them. You can't even come out of there and just nip through. You've got to go onto the front road. It's the only way.
From the club itself. And it's a lovely, beautiful morning here. There's quite a lot of cars, as you can see. I think it's quite a dangerous place to leave your child in with the door unlocked. I don't know, they could have got run over or anything. So they would have come up here to the end of the street here. Now I'm trying to find the way in. Yes, and these are the apartments, so then they would have had to go up here. Well, I'm not going in there because it says no admittance, residents only. They're probably sick of people coming and doing videos, but it's a beautiful day, as you can see.
So yeah, so this is the apartment. So it's not mega far distance wise, but it's awkward to get to. You know, it's not just easy, like just walk from the pool to the apartment, or you can see the apartment from the pool and the tapas bar. You know, it's not like miles away, but it's awkward. It's at the back. You can't see the door. You've got how could you rest? How could you rest and enjoy yourself for a minute, knowing your 3 kids under 5 were in that apartment? You couldn't even see the door.
These are the apartments, so you can see it's not actually, I'm going back, it's not a place that you can see, you know, from the pool, from the tennis, from the bar, nothing. You can't see it, so I just wanted to show you that. I'll do some more. Got the sea at the bottom there. So to get to the sea, it's quite a long way down.
As you can see, so to go down to the beach, it's you know, it's at least 20 minutes, half an hour walk down there. And you know, it's worse coming back up, because by the time you come back up and it's really sunny and hot and that, it is hard work.
Downhill. But yeah, it's not just, and that's that bit that I've just done. There was, you know, I've cut out the bit from the tapas bar, so it's not, I don't know. Well, you tell me what you think. Would you have left your child there? I know I certainly wouldn't, but anyway, thank you, bye.
So now we're actually inside the tapas bar.
Lunch in.
Or what? This is the tapas bar. There's the apartment. So did you feel safe leaving your 3 children under the age of 5 in that apartment? You're in this bar drinking, having a good time. And to get to that apartment, you can't see the door. You can see the window there, but you can't see the door. Would you? And of course it was nighttime, so could you have even seen it then? I don't know. Knowing that you've got to come out, go out, over to the entrance, out, round the corner. No. In my opinion, no.
So we're starting the tapas bar. Can we see the apartment? Anyway, look at that. I think that might be it. On the edge. I'll show you the top there. There's all things hanging down from the top. There's some swinging chairs. I won't be getting one of them because it'll probably break. Nice flowers, palm trees.
Now, I just want to say it was a lovely holiday. I would definitely recommend that complex. The people that work there, the guy that owns it, they were really super friendly, really nice. I would definitely recommend it. That restaurant, the food was lovely. And, you know, so I would definitely recommend it as a holiday place, as long as you're aware that it's an hour and a half from the airport to get there. You know, it's not just right next to the airport. It was quite a long airport transfer. And your apartment that you stay in will not be in that complex. You know, it'd be outside it somewhere. But apart from that, I would definitely recommend it as a holiday place, but not for children, personally. You know,
Okay, so what do you think? Do you think it's a place where you would have left your child? I said, well, not only your child, your 3 children. I think that's the other thing we've got to remember. These weren't like 10-year-old children. You know, these were children. 3, the oldest child was 3, nearly 4, which was Madeleine, and the twins were only 2 years old. So this is not, you know, a question of leaving 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds alone. These are tiny children, tiny children. Having said that, Madeleine, of course, was a toddler, so could have come out of the room because the door was open. She wouldn't have been able to access the pool area. You know, as I've explained to you, there's a wall around that complex. The apartment is totally separate. So,
okay, so I think you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. That is again. So there are the 2 main things for me that really make me worry about the McCanns. First thing is the fact that they still left their other 2 children in the kids' club, even after Madeleine had been snatched. According to them, they seemed to think it was okay to put their kids in the same kids' club that Madeleine had been going to. That could have been someone from that kids' club that knew where they lived and could have organised the snatching of Madeleine. Didn't faze them. They wanted to go jogging, do their bit, fly across the world to talk to Oprah Winfrey and go and see the Pope. So yeah, leave their kids with other people. You wouldn't have. If I had 3 children, one of my children was snatched, you would not be able to. I would be like super glued to my other children that I still had. You know, you just wouldn't have let them go for a minute. Not in the beginning, anyway. I mean, obviously, as time goes on, you know, you've got to let them go to school and things. But certainly not in that area. You know, where my child had been snatched from, where she'd been going to that children's club. This is a big thing for me. I don't think that's normal, you know, to just even at school, you know, if one of my children was snatched from school, you know, or from an area next to the school or the nursery where I was taking them, I wouldn't let my other 2 children go there again, would you? Anyway, that's it. And then the other thing is the distance. I wouldn't have left them in the apartment in the first place. You know, maybe if they'd been older children, as I say, if they were 10, 11, if they had phones, you know, and they could message you, you know, they could message you, which I think it's important to remember. These were tiny children. These weren't, you know, children that, you know, could have sent you a WhatsApp message or phoned you or phoned the police or done anything. These were children were completely, especially the twins, completely dependent on you. 2 years old. Madeleine was 3, just about near 4. Tiny children, toddlers. We're not talking about older children. So, you know, that'll always be my thing with the McCanns. I don't think Christian B. So going back to Christian B, which was the whole point that started this video, don't think Christian B, never thought Christian B had anything to do with it. He might be an absolute twonk. He might be an absolute horrible person. But in my opinion, I knew right from the beginning he was nothing to do with it. And the other thing I just want to say is, while I was there in Praia da Luz, I got talking to all these people, you know, they were really resentful towards the McCanns, because what the McCanns did was the whole, when Madeleine first went missing, everyone was searching for Madeleine except the McCanns. They weren't searching. The whole village, all the Portuguese supported them. Oh, where is this child? You know, where is this child? All searching everywhere for Madeleine, but not the McCanns. They weren't searching. So this sort of disillusionment set in amongst the locals, you know, in the end. So, and now the general thinking in the locals, with the locals, is that it was to do with the McCanns. And another thing I just wanted to mention, they do from the other surrounding villages, like the bigger town of, I think it, oh God, what's it called? I think it begins with L. They do like, go on, they do like coach tours from the other hotels to go and see where Madeleine disappeared from. They actually go on these coach tours from other hotels. I mean, at least we stayed in the actual sort of area, you know, and the guy who owned it, you know, at least we sort of went, you know, so people, what I'm saying is people are going and staying in other hotels not far away, not even bringing any, you know, what's the word? I mean, they call it, what do they call it? Something tourism, don't they? But they're not putting any money into the actual place itself because they're staying elsewhere. And then they're just going on coach tours to have a look at the apartment. And that I found that a bit, you know, because it's not, if you're going to stay in the place, at least you're taking some money into the place. You're, you can, we put really good reviews for them because, you know, it was a lovely place to go and stay. And, you know, at least it brought some positivity as well, instead of going on these bloody, you know, instead of staying somewhere else and then going on a coach tour. Oh, Wesley, no, not Lanzarote. It's, let me have a look. Cities in Portugal. Hello. Oh, hello. Lagos. That's what's a bigger town, I think, that's near there. In fact, I'll show you this. This is like a little map of the towns. So, yeah. So I think it's Lagos that's quite close by. But Faro, where the... see, look, this is where the airport is, in Faro. And you can see that the Praia da Luz is quite a long way away because it's up sort of this area. So, yeah, long drive. It was a long drive. The long taxi run it was, an hour and a half to get to the airport. But it was beautiful. I mean, I definitely recommend that beach club. You couldn't fault it, you know, for the actual, you know, the restaurant was nice. People were friendly. The owner was super friendly, like really, you know, couldn't do enough for you. The apartments were nice, but the apartments are privately owned. They're not owned by the complex. You sort of book your holiday, I think, all of it, but they're actually two separate things. Annie, you wouldn't even leave your 10-year-old, yeah. Yeah, you'd never leave 3 children under the age of 5. It's like they were leaving Madeleine to babysit the twins, you know, that's how it feels to me. And so far away. So now, if you've seen that, it wasn't, you'd feel uneasy even in your own garden, wouldn't you, really? Because I suppose, I don't know, if you couldn't actually see into the window or see what they were doing. So. Exactly, Heather. This is my thing, yeah. Wasn't only the mother, they were jogging together. They never stopped their routine at all. Never stopped their routine. So, would you, God, can you imagine that? Oh, your daughter's gone missing. So this is what I'm saying. This is what they told me there at the owner of the resort and the guy that works in the tap at what's the Japanese bar now. That's why the Portuguese, the villagers and that's why they got annoyed with them in the end, because they weren't searching. So all the villagers out looking for Madeleine, and Kate and Jerry are just carrying on doing their jogs every day. So anyway, okay, so I'm going to go now. I just thought I'd let you know about that. And of course, it's turned into quite a long video. But thank you so much. And a special thanks, of course, to Angela, sending super sticker. Thank you so much, Angela. I'm going to put that towards my next location, which I say I'm going on quite a big location tour soon. So any Ko-fis that anyone's getting me at the moment and stuff, it's all going towards. I'm going to go on location and visit a few sort of scenes, etc. So that's it. I'm going now. I may be back later because I'm finishing earlier today than I thought I was going to be, because somebody's not well and they've cancelled their last class. But we'll see. If I've got any news, of course, with the stories that we've been following, as far as I know, Victoria Taylor, the missing lady in Malton, I'm just going to key in just in case anything, as there's been any developments, but I don't think there have. No. A lot of talk about the bag she was clutching that we talked about yesterday. But anyway, as far as I know, we've got no further news of Victoria's case. But there'll be something to talk about. There's always something to talk about, isn't there? So, yeah, thank you so much for spending this time with me. And thank you for still caring about Madeleine, because, after all this time, I think the people that deserve the most answers now are Amelie and Sean. They deserve the answers, don't they? What happened to their little sister? Why were they all left there? I'm sure they've been asking those questions. Okay, so I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Bye.